So a Bhakti poet from the 17th century says, his name was Tukaram, and he says that just like salt is dissolved in water, then what remains, what is it that remains distinct? You cannot separate salt from water. In the same way, when you love Ishwara, when you love the Supreme Reality, when you love that ultimate divinity, by whatever name, formless or informed, doesn't matter. But when you go beyond these worldly loves to that higher love, there's no distinction remains between you. You merge into that. So this Madhurya Bhava unfolds first through a couple of stages. And the first one is adoration. Adoration arises through Satsanga. For example, in your daily life, unless you come to this Satsang, you don't typically think about loving Ishwara. You think about loving people, loving animals, loving handbags and luxury cars, but you don't think about loving Ishwara. But adoration of Ishwara involves being in satsang, of spiritual teachers, engaging in discussions, listening to their kathas. And so sage Vashishta says that the company of sages converts emptiness into fullness, death into immortality, and adversity into prosperity. So Satsanga offers us insight to begin adoring something invisible but all-pervasive. This adoration or Satsanga stage leads to more and more steadfastness or conviction, and that is known as Shraddha, as many of you know. So that is the Shraddha in Ishwara's isness, Ishwara's love back to us, Ishwara's presence, omnipotence, and that no matter what's happening, good or bad, ugly or lovely, this is Ishwara just supporting me. And I'm 100% convinced, 500% convinced, 5 million times convinced that any adversity is nothing but Ishwara gently closing some door to open the right one for me. And so Satsanga leads to Shraddha. Otherwise, if we stop attending satsangs, if we think we skip them, we're not fully present, then what happens is our Shraddha goes down and our journey fizzles away. That happens. But if we continue with satsang, it leads to Shraddha. And Shraddha, what does it lead to? It leads to the sadhana of bhakti. So sadhana could include chanting mantras, lighting a lamp, devotional singing, kirtan. Sadhana is not just a practice, but it's an emotional state that signifies a desire to keep up with practices that bring about divine remembrance, connect us. So when I pick flowers from my backyard, when I light an incense, a couple of times a day I light the incense. These are all sadhanas. And whenever I'm in the car or I'm by myself, I start chanting in divine remembrance, whichever mantra, shloka, bhajan, kirtan, whichever language comes to me, I chant it. So it's not just mechanical motion of rituals or disciplines, but it's a heartfelt expression of our yearning for our union with the beloved, and it happens every time when we do these rituals mindfully, these sadhanas, we connect. So even Hari Om Tat Sat, sorry, just a few words, but connected. So that's a sadhana. Or a sadhana could be, I will not judge. Okay, let's bring it back. The first thought was of judgment. The second thought was pulling it back to say that's ridiculous. This is Ishwara's created Jagat, world. It is as it is. I'm no one to judge. So there you go. Come back. Come back. You come. That's sadhana. Physical sadhanas, lighting a candle. Vocal sadhanas, chanting or being kind to others through your words. Mental sadhana, reducing all these wrong ideas, thoughts, and bringing them back. So that's sadhana. So satsanga leads to Shraddha, Shraddha leads to sadhana. What does sadhana lead to? When you have consistent in your sadhana, it will lead to Nishta. Nishta means this is the higher state of Shraddha. Nishta is where there are no off days. There is no off moment. There is no separate moment. So when we are in the Nishta state, the love for the divine becomes unfluctuating, steady like a rock, unwavering, permeating every aspect of our being. And people begin to wonder what happened to you. You start shining with Nishta. Nishta, Nishta. So these are just words. You don't have to remember the Sanskrit words, but you can just hear the evolution of our love. And then we have the next one is Ruchi, Ruchi, Ruchi or inclination. All our inclinations are now towards our beloved. I only want to hear its name. I only want to sing its name. I only want to watch movies with its name. You know, in my case, if I have to listen to a radio channel, and if I don't have access to Vedic knowledge or Vedic singing, I will listen to the Bible channel. I will listen to the Islamic channel. Anywhere that one's glory is being discussed, that is Ruchi, in my case. Nothing else. It's an inclination. This is the inclination. Then once we are in this Ruchi state, it propels us towards satsang, towards guru, towards community, towards chanting, singing, rituals, pilgrimage. Nobody needs to tell us to do it. It's not a vacation we take. It's not an occasional thing. Our taste has changed permanently. We want to eat sattvic food. We want to stay immersed in Shastra and Bhakti. And, you know, all our inclinations are towards the path of devotion and love. Then the sixth step is known as Rati, R-A-T-I. Due to our inclination, it's Rati also means attachment, and we've been talking about no attachment, but this is a superior attachment. It is only because we've let go of our other attachments that we can now attach to something that's real. We were attaching to, you know, the relatives, the spouse, the children, the property, the furniture. We were attaching to all these things that are not permanent and give us misery sooner or later. But now this new attachment called Rati is very, very, very soothing. And in this state, even when one is housekeeping, brooming their house, making love to their human partner, doing laundry, paying bills, their heart is now deeply attached to the divine heart. And they experience as a result a deep sense of fulfillment, being held and engaged. After Rati intensifies and culminates in prema. And I already told you what prema is. It's supreme love. This transcends ordinary emotions. One feels constantly as if feeling one. Oh, I'm not alone. No, I'm not alone. No, not even for a moment. I'm the last person on earth now, but I'm not alone. That's the feeling. A feeling of like I have become reunited. Just like when people are in human love, they go, I have a partner. It may not last a long time, but for a few months, few weeks, it feels like that. But when one is in a state of prema, one has become united. And their love is magnified and it is shining. And in experiencing this divine love, prema, the devotee is forever transformed. This is what was happening with the gopis. They were going through all this. And finally, there is an eighth stage, which is a yogic stage of Jivan Mukta, or liberation. This love liberates us. It doesn't pull us down. This love and the attachments in it detach us from all the clingy, dysfunctional bonds of the material nature, samsara. It makes us self-satisfied, self-fulfilled, unaffected by external circumstances. We're pivoting from this deep inner peace and contentment. So I've given you these 8 stages, and you might think, gosh, I'm nowhere. Well, you are in a satsang, and many of you have been there. And many of you may have been there time-wise, but now you might choose to be there, not just calculating the number of years you've been in a satsang, but how many moments have you truly been in the Sangha, company of Sat, the truth. And the love of Sat is being discussed here, not the love of Hindu gods, Christian gods, Jew gods, makeup gods, none of that, the ultimate reality. And as a result, you're in Satsanga, so you're already in the first stage. And for some of you, Satsanga may already be yielding to you Shraddha. And the reason I call one of my sessions Shraddha, and the reason we really focus on Shraddha, is because between Satsanga and all the other steps is Shraddha. If you do not have conviction, if your initial interest does not conform into a conviction, then none of this follows. So Shraddha is the steadfastness that we need. And I think this is what was happening, and that's why we say that all the gopis are Jivan Muktas. They were all liberated yogis and yoginis, and they were experiencing outward yearning, but inward fullness. And that is the beauty of Madhurya Bhava. Similarly, Mirabai was, I've already shared her tale with you many times now, at least twice, but she was unconcerned with the world, not because she was a rebel, but because she was totally at peace inside herself. She was a liberated Jivana Mukta. Jivana Mukta is the term. Jivana means life, and Mukta means free. Most of us, our life is a burden. It is a headache. It is a stress-causing factor. We all say with such disgust, such is life. We talk like that. But a Jivana Mukta has become free of the limitations of life because they have discovered the source of life, which is the truth of Ishwara and Atma within them. So this is the teaching of Madhurya Bhava. And since we have a few minutes, I thought this is a good time to just open the discussion. If you have any questions or comments on the bhavas, especially on this Madhurya Bhava or any of the bhavas we have discussed before, or the steps of the transformation of bhakti from simple adoration that develops in satsang all the way to becoming liberated through that experience of prema. You're welcome to bring it up. Do not let these ideas overwhelm you. I think if you think about it, even in human love, we go through initial crush, then a conviction, then a steadfastness, then we feel very full, then we feel unconditional love, then we feel free in it. We go through all those stages, don't we? The only thing is that human love comes with a time limitation. It expires after a while, and it changes into the opposite emotion. But divine love does not.